Everyone, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name's Allie. Today I wanted to talk about eyebrows, and it has been sort of a tough subject for me over the years. There's been times when I've really struggled to get them filled in right, and that is because I have very naturally light blonde eyebrows. They are a little bit sparse as well. They're not the thickest brows in the world. So when I fill them in, I have to start from absolutely nothing almost to fill in all the color and all the shape myself with very little guideline to work with. And it led me to a lot of trial and a lot of error. A lot of these tips are kind of weird, honestly. Very random, not maybe your most like professional scientific way to fill in your brows, but they just work for me, so I wanted to share them. I'm gonna try to tint my brows soon too, but for this video I just wanted to leave them natural as is so you could really see the beginning and the end. So yeah, I also wanted to mention I'm doing a Twilight, Colourpop Twilight collection giveaway over on my Instagram. So these are all the products I'm giving away. I wanted to mention it in this video, so if you do watch my YouTube, you can get a chance to enter over on Instagram. So I'm gonna leave all the rules for that at the end of this video and down in the description box down below. So why don't we get started? You can see what these eyebrows really look like without product. So first things first, I would recommend not filling in your brows completely from the side. Obviously with the ends of them, you have to look to the side a little bit. I used to do that. I thought it gave me a really nice arch to my brows, but it turned out when I would look straight on, they were just a little off. Same with your mirror being too low. If you're filling them in downwards like this, when you get up here to eye level, it's just gonna look different. If you fill them in at eye level as much as possible, if your mirror is up here and you're looking forward, they're gonna look good from all angles. That's kind of what I found. So starting off, I used to use my e.l.f. brow lift at the beginning to help my products go on better. I still use this at the end a lot of times. Lately, I have been doing something very weird that I just discovered one day by accident, honestly. This is the Clinique Take the Day Off Makeup Remover. I've already given it a shake, and then I take a spoolie brush and just go in around the top of the bottle really lightly and brush that through my brows. I'll even get some of it off on my hands, but then brush that through my brows. And I know this seems so counterintuitive. Like I said, one day I messed up my brows, took them off so that I could reapply, and I thought, this isn't gonna work very well. I have eye makeup remover in my eyebrows, and it actually turned out that they looked so good, as I think it just dilutes your brow products, especially if they're nearing the end of their lifespan. Maybe they're a little dry, and I have lighter brows. I have to layer up a lot, and sometimes it can just lift off and look patchy. This just helps things go on really smooth and look really soft and fluffy too. Take it with a grain of salt, but it happens to just randomly work really well for me. A lot of people will take a makeup brush and, you know, line it up here, here, and here to find the beginning, middle, and end of your brow. I just take my actual brow pencil. This is a little microfill, I believe it's called, brow pencil by the brand Trio Beauty. So I line it up, not in the outside here, but right here next to the tip of my nose, and that is where my brow should start, and I just mark that with my brow pencil. Through here, through my pupil, and wherever that lands is gonna be the highest point in your arch. Like, I can't do that with a makeup brush and then remember it later. So I just go in and mark it right then and there and make it a curve so it's not pointy. Then for the tail, you're gonna do this and take it from your nose to the outer corner. I think the tail of your brow can be fudged more, but I think the arch and the beginning are very important. And I know this seems excessive, but I struggle with my brow, so for me it's worth it to do that. So that is just to mark everything. Then I'm going to go in with my holy grail brow product. If I lost all of my products, I would go in and buy this first, and sometimes I just use this and do none of these other things if I'm in a hurry, of course. This is the Hourglass Arch Fiber Brow Gel. It's phenomenal. The shade that I prefer is actually blonde. Right now I'm using warm blonde, and that's a good one too. I can get away with it, it's just a little bit darker. This can create brows where there just are none. It looks really natural, fluffy. It just builds up your brow so naturally and easy. It never looks really gunky or fake or anything. It has longer bristles on one side of the brush and shorter ones on the other side, and that's where I just start to brush up through. For areas where you need a little extra color, you can press in and try to get it on the skin underneath. So I go upwards in the middle, and then I brush this way towards the center. I have to build up my color from scratch, and I feel like this just fills in a lot of color really quickly for me and builds up volume in the brow really quickly. Some parts where I need extra color, I'm brushing down a little bit and then brushing back up. This is what I like to call my little layering brow gel. This is another trick if you have one of, you know, a product that you tried and you didn't really love it. That was my experience with the Kosas brow gel. I tried it, it was okay, but I was just like, I don't know if I could rely on this alone. But I kept it around and I found that I like it a lot as a secondary brow gel. Just stay with me here. So again, I need to build up a lot of shape, a lot of color. Sometimes makeup in general just doesn't layer up on itself over and over and over again very well. Blushes, eyeshadow, sometimes they'll get patchy and you take another kind, another brand, another color of eyeshadow, and it'll just blend it right out and fill in those gaps really easily. I love this, it's my holy grail. Sometimes it has a bad day, you know? This one can be really good for just going through and kind of filling in any of those little tricky spots that aren't quite being caught by my other brow gel. This is one of those fixes that I use if I'm really struggling. And the other thing is it can just give you some good use out of a product that maybe you haven't really used that much and you want to use up. And I do try to press everything upwards. Going back to my microfill, I'm gonna underline. This is where I underline. I soften that curve in the arch. And I also fill in any other little bare spot I see. The key here is to go back and brush it through then, so it's not an actual line, because you know, we used to do the blocked off brow look with our dip brow years ago, and that's fine if you still want to do that, don't get me wrong. But I just think for me, I like it to be softer now. I have very naturally pointy brows, so I like to bring that down a little bit. One way I do that is to make sure that I don't draw my arch up too high, and I just smooth this down. The other way that I do that is make sure I have a bit of a drop shadow put down, meaning there's some product on the skin underneath my brow hairs in this area right here. So if you fill this in here a little bit more, it's going to lift the inner part of your eyebrow up, thus softening your arch or the, you know, pointy corner of my eyebrow. You don't want to do it too much because then you're going to get a downturn look. And I am actually back brushing because it deposits the product on the skin underneath the actual eyebrow hairs a little bit better. Just rounding out that part right there can really help. And this one isn't as pointy, so I don't have to worry about it too much. It also really keeps your eyebrow from doing that like dip down thing that you'll see sometimes, where it just kind of like dips down, comes out here, and then curls around down. And I also, for my tail, the tail of my brow, I like to swoop it, like curve it and then flick it up. I don't like it to come to a straight point like that. I think that can be a little severe. I just don't like a pointed brow. I think it gives a lot more of a fluffy look when it's straight on top and then curved to meet it like that. That might be a little overboard, but hopefully you get what I'm saying. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. I wanted to give you another weird little trick. Again, these are just things, I don't know, they're weird, but it works for me. So what I do is I will either take my hair all the way down. Actually, I'll just do that for you. Take it out of the clip. I know you're already thinking, what is she doing? This was pre-children when I had time to do stuff like this. One day I was just so unhappy with how my brows were looking. I just sat down and looked at my eyebrows, looked at pictures of eyebrows that I really liked, and tried to figure out what was the disconnect. And one huge thing that I realized was if I take my hair down and I just let it fall wherever it falls naturally, okay? And I know your hair doesn't fall in the exact same place every time you take it down, but for some reason it does tend to be pretty consistent, weirdly enough. I just want to make sure that from the front with my hair down, or even like two pieces down, that I can start to see a little bit of my eyebrow coming down and forming that downward tail, okay? If I can see that, I know my brow, like my arch, is in the right place and my brow is filled in a balanced shape. What I used to do is make everything really high and lifted and pushed out more, and what would happen is I wouldn't be able to see any of my tail from the front, because two things: I was making the tail too thin and I wasn't pulling the color down far enough in the tail, and I was also pushing the arch too far out and too far up. So everything was like out here and it just wasn't framing my eye in the correct way. when I started doing these little adjustments, I can notice, I can go back in my camera roll and I can notice when I started doing these specific things, because I can see the difference in my eyebrows and see how they're more flattering and they fit my face better. It's crazy. You have to go in and work with your brows a lot to fill them in. Sometimes what can happen is they're gonna end up too dark, or you're gonna have a lot of product in there and you just wanna soften it. Just take my concealer brush that I used for my concealer, brush back to soften, especially just this inner part. I'll go anywhere that looks like it needs softened. And I will roll it up to flatten my brow to get that like subtle laminated effect, but we're not going full lamination station. You know, I know this seems like a big production, guys, but honestly, when I do it on my own, it doesn't really take that long. And you know, if you do want extra hold, yes, I will sometimes go in again with the brow lift and do that whole thing. You just have to be a little careful with all of the product and making sure you're not doing too much. But yeah, it's nice to have them stay in place with this. So I'll just use like the back of my Revlon brow pen and just very lightly go over with that. And once I've done that, I will press it down just to make sure it's sticking against my skin. I like the e.l.f. brow lift because it never feels like sticky or heavy on my skin. If I need a last ditch effort, you guys, if it is just not working, that's when I go to my brow pen, okay? I have a whole arsenal of things that I can use if need be. 70% of the time, I'm not a numbers gal, but that's just what I would estimate. 70% of the time, I'm just using this Hourglass fiber gel. You can totally use this to get a very natural eyebrow. Not always all this stuff though. That would be insane to do this every single time. I'm just showing you guys all the little tricks I have up my sleeve. Oh, okay, we're done. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I do have a Colourpop Twilight collection giveaway going on my Instagram. If you could subscribe to my channel and like this video, that would be wonderful. It's a huge help to me. And to officially enter the giveaway, just head over to my Instagram at MakeupByAlli, A-L-L-I, and just go to my most recent post. I believe it's going to be a reel. Like that post, make sure you're following me on Instagram, and comment on that post and just say whatever you want. Any comment. You can say, I love Twilight, enter me, tag a friend who loves Twilight. Any comment will be your entry for all of these products from the Twilight collection. I haven't opened them up because I don't want to compromise them or anything like that. It's the 3 ink liners, the 2 Super Shock highlighters, shimmering dry body oil, 3 Luxe lip oils, and the eyeshadow palette. I will be, so let me just check my calendar. I will be posting this video on Monday, March 18th, and I'll pick the winner on Thursday, March 21st around 10 a.m. and I will DM the winner on Instagram. I was sent all these products by Colourpop very generously in PR, and I know everybody's been loving this collection, so I thought it'd be a good chance to just give it away to one of my viewers as a huge thank you for all of your support over all these so many years. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Good luck in the giveaway, and I will see you very soon in my next one. Bye.